Hi, I'm Andrew Berger, Repository Manager for the Stanford Digital Repository, and today I'm going to be giving a brief overview and demonstration of some of the work that's ongoing on the Argo user interface. I'm going to be focusing mainly on the single item page, but I'm starting here on a search result page because I wanted to have a bit of a reveal before going to the new layout. So I'm just going to click on this item, and that's going to take us to the new layout for single items. And this is the new item page. You can see up here in the upper right corner, we're clearly labeling this page an item page. Every item is going to have a label like this. We also have new pages for collection, for APO, for agreement. And so each of those will have labels. Those different types of objects in the SDR behave slightly differently. And we thought it would be good to have these labels to clearly differentiate the pages when you come to them, because the Argo interface looks pretty similar on each page, but the item page is the most fully featured one, and that's why I'm using it for the demo here. So if you are not familiar with Argo, you may not know what the page looks like currently. So I'm going to go over to a tab there just to show the current page for contrast before coming back. So here's the current page. This is the same image. I shortened the title for the demo, but otherwise it's the same material. And there's a couple things that I'm going to emphasize here just for the contrast in the new interface. The first is this list of links on the left here that says view in new window in the sidebar. The second part of this page that jumps out are these blue bars, or blue buttons as we call them, that will carry out various actions like editing data or other kinds of actions. And the section below the thumbnail here has some of the key metadata, basically the metadata that is not the descriptive metadata, but metadata that's administrative or rights, or that kind of metadata. So let's go back to the new layout. So in the new layout, you'll notice right away that we don't have blue buttons on the left side, and we don't have that list of links. And so what we've done is we've moved those to the center of the page here. So the view in new window, these are the links that appeared on the left-hand side. And then down here, the actions, these are some of the blue buttons, but not all of the blue buttons. And so what I mean by that is we looked at the buttons, and they really perform two different kinds of functions. There are buttons that carry out actions, but don't necessarily update data in the sense of, you release something to SearchWorks, but you don't. That's an action. While updating data would be something like you change the collection or you change the source ID. And so what we've done is we separated out the buttons that perform actions, and we've put them in this section in the middle here. They're no longer blue. I'll just note that, because the Stanford color scheme didn't really allow the blue. So this is more of a red or cardinal based color scheme. And so the actions have gone here. And the edits have gone to a new editing interface. And by new editing interface, I'm going to demonstrate that. So in the current Argo interface, if you wanted to edit some of the data down here, like the content type or the access rights, you would go to a blue button and you would edit that. There's a few sources of confusion around that, because you can only edit an object if you do what we call opening the object. And opening means like you open it to create a new version, then you make your edits, then you save that version. What we've done is we have moved the logic about opening and closing objects to this lock icon here up on the left. And so the lock icon, it's basically like a toggle. If you click on it while it's locked, you'll get prompted to open the version, which I'm going to do right now. And if you click on it when it's unlocked, then you will get prompted to close the version. And so I'm opening it, and you see that it is unlocked. And now when it's unlocked, it enables your ability to make edits. And so when we come back down here to this grid, you'll see these pencil icons. And the pencil icons indicate that you can edit the fields that the pencil is next to. So what we've done here is we've taken that detail section that was showing in one column at the top of the Argo page, well, just below the thumbnail in the existing interface. And we've moved that into this grid view. And so part of the reason for that isn't just to enable this editing, it's also to make it a cleaner view and to allow us to display more fields. If you're a longtime Argo user, you may have noticed that the copyright here, the license, use and reproduction, and over here, the barcode, those are fields that didn't actually display in an easy to find way in the current interface, but we've now brought them over into this edit view. Well, not just this edit view, but the display view when it's locked and then the edit view when it's unlocked. So how do you edit? Well, you click on a pencil. And so for these edits, like this example here, for the edits that have blue buttons, what happens when you click on the pencil is you get the same menu that would be familiar to you if you're an Argo user and you've been using the blue buttons. But we've also added the ability to edit fields that were not previously editable in a blue button. And that's the other motivation behind having this grid. We considered adding more blue buttons for every single edit, but then you would end up with a very long list of blue buttons down on the left-hand side. And so in this new interface, you have this edit prompt right next to the field that you're editing. And so you can see here, I can edit this. Let me just shorten this copyright statement to public domain, simply for the purpose of showing that the edits are right in line. And so these new edits are using this inline type of editing. Over time, just to emphasize again, this is work in progress. Over time, we're going to be establishing consistency in how we edit objects. But for the moment, the blue button edits are using the pop-ups that they used to use, and the new fields are using these new edits. And that is basically how the new interface works. I am going to lock this object just so that you can see that this is the same as closing the version, and now it's locked again, and it's running through the accessioning workflows. There is one more thing that I want to point out in the new interface that will get more dedicated attention in the future. I'm going to scroll down here to the content section, and this section shows the files that are in your object. So, in this case, there are two image files. There's the TIFF, which is the high resolution scan, and then there's this JPEG 2000 file, which is actually what is displayed in the viewer. There is a content section in the current interface, but it's fairly sparse. Our goal here is to, similar to that grid above, is to be able to display all of the fields that are editable, and then over time bring in a way to edit more easily. What we're going to be doing, and this is why I'm going to come back and demonstrate this later, is provide a way to use CSVs to manage this. So let's say you have a book with hundreds of files. You're probably not going to want to go into XML and edit hundreds of lines of XML. So the paradigm that we're going to follow on this editing to be able to get at those files is you can download a CSV with all the settings, change the settings you want to change, then re-upload the CSV. And this is going to give you the ability to do some of the things that are a bit hard to access right now, like set rights at a file-specific basis and determine these settings here, publish, shelf, preserve. These determine which files are shown to the public and which files are only in the preservation system. And by having this new editing interface and this new display to show you what the current settings are, it'll be easier to more finely tune how your objects work. And that is basically it for my demo. Thanks for watching. And I hope to have an announcement for you that this will be released in the near future. Thanks.